Good evening. Christian Alexander here, founder of the News AI, with a special message. As we gather here with our loved ones on Christmas Day, let's take a moment to spread a message of kindness and care. In the spirit of the holiday season, it's important to remember that while we may come from different backgrounds and hold various beliefs, the essence of today is universal. It's about cherishing each other and keeping faith alive in our hearts. No matter what religion you practice, or if you practice none at all, the core values of compassion, love, and togetherness resonate with us all. From all of us here at the News AI, we wish you a Merry Christmas, filled with joy and warmth.
Their own personal lives and agenda control exactly what people think is extremely dangerous to us.
Good evening and Merry Christmas. This is Christian Alexander with a breaking update involving His Royal Highness Prince Andrew and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. In the upcoming new year, Prince Andrew is reportedly facing significant distress as a vast collection of court documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein are set to be unveiled. These documents, stemming from a defamation lawsuit in 2015 by Virginia Roberts Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's associate, are said to include references to over 170 individuals connected to Epstein, with Prince Andrew being one of them. Sources close to the Duke of York have expressed deep concern for his mental well-being, as he is reportedly totally tormented by the impending release of these documents. The reveal is anticipated to occur in January, and is expected to bring renewed attention to Prince Andrew's association with Epstein. This comes after a challenging period for the prince, who was removed from his Royal Highness title and various patronage last year by Queen Elizabeth due to his connections with the convicted sex offender. The source emphasized the added strain of facing his second Christmas without his mother, followed by the anticipated negative publicity in the new year. The situation highlights the ongoing repercussions of the Epstein scandal and its far-reaching impact on the individuals associated with him. Prince Andrew's involvement and the forthcoming release of these documents are likely to attract significant media attention and public scrutiny. This is Christian Alexander with the News AI.
During the fourth Republican presidential debate earlier this month, candidate Vivek Ramaswamy sparked controversy with his remarks suggesting, without substantiating evidence, that the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol was an inside job. His statement, "Why am I the only person on this stage, at least, who can say that January 6 now does look like it was an inside job?" has since become a recurring theme in his campaign speeches, including those leading up to the Iowa caucuses. Ramaswamy has not only focused on the January 6th event, but also delved into other conspiracy theories surrounding incidents like the 9/11 attacks, the foiled kidnapping plot against Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and theories about political maneuvers to replace President Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee in the next election. His comments caught the attention of Alan Hostetter, a convicted participant in the January 6th riot and former California police chief. Hostetter, who called for the execution of former President Donald Trump's political adversaries, expressed admiration for Ramaswamy's stance during his sentencing for activities related to the Capitol riot. Hostetter was sentenced to over 11 years in federal prison on multiple charges, including conspiracy and obstruction of an official proceeding. Ramaswamy, reflecting on his evolving views, mentioned, "If you had told me that January 6 was in any way an inside job, the subject of government entrapment, I would have told you that was crazy talk, fringe conspiracy theory nonsense. I can tell you now, having gone somewhat deep in this, it's not." Tricia McLaughlin, Ramaswamy's communications director, when asked about these statements, drew parallels with past instances where controversial claims were initially dismissed but later gained traction, citing the origins of COVID-19 and the controversy surrounding Hunter Biden's laptop. These developments indicate a continuing trend in Ramaswamy's campaign, where he aligns himself with unconventional and controversial viewpoints, a strategy that seems to resonate with certain segments of the electorate, while also attracting significant scrutiny and criticism. Susie Lopez with the News AI.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's recent visit to IDF soldiers in northern Gaza came in the wake of a particularly deadly weekend for the troops. More than a dozen Israeli soldiers lost their lives during this period, marking one of the gravest tolls for the military since the conflict with Hamas escalated on October 7. During his visit, Netanyahu addressed the soldiers with a message of pride and reassurance. He emphasized the importance of their lives, assuring them that leadership is committed to their safety. Furthermore, he delivered a strong directive to continue the military efforts without pause, underlining the ongoing nature of the conflict until its resolution. The situation in Gaza remains critical. The Palestinian enclave, according to reports from Gaza's Ministry of Health, suffered substantial casualties with 250 people killed and many more wounded in attacks over the last 24 hours. This includes a devastating Christmas Eve strike on the Al-Maghazi refugee camp, resulting in at least 70 fatalities, many of whom were women and children. Hamas, in a statement, highlighted the tragedy of the loss of civilian lives in the camp. The intensity of the conflict and the resulting casualties on both sides underscore the complex and dire humanitarian situation in Gaza. The Ministry of Health has also pointed out the collapse of the health system in the region, which has exacerbated the challenges in providing effective treatment for the injured, thereby contributing to the increasing death toll. Netanyahu's visit and statements reflect the ongoing tension and complexity of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, with significant implications for both military and civilian populations in the region. Subscribe to stay updated. Raj Miskari with the News AI.
In Argentina, the economic landscape is undergoing dramatic changes under the new presidency of Javier Milei, with significant impacts on everyday life and business operations. Since Milei took office on December 10, after being elected on November 19, the country has witnessed a steep rise in inflation rates, adding to the existing economic challenges. Already grappling with the world's third highest rate of inflation at 160% from the previous year, Argentina is seeing further escalations in prices since Milei's presidency began. This rapid increase is impacting various sectors. A wine bar owner in Buenos Aires reported a 73% hike in beef prices and a 140% increase in zucchini costs. An Uber driver is paying 60% more for fuel, and a father mentioned a doubling in diaper costs for his toddler. Milei, a political outsider and former economist and television pundit, was elected amidst Argentina's long-standing economic woes, characterized by chronic inflation, rising poverty, and a devaluing currency. His administration's approach to resolving these issues involves drastic measures, as indicated in his inaugural address, where he emphasized telling the uncomfortable truth. Key actions by Milei include a significant 54% devaluation of the peso and a reduction in government spending, including cuts in consumer subsidies. These steps are part of his broader plan to reduce the government's size and revamp the economy, which he promised would initially be painful. Economists recognize the necessity of these measures for addressing Argentina's long-term financial problems. But they also acknowledge the immediate hardships they bring, particularly the accelerated inflation. Analysts predict a further 25 to 30% increase in prices this month, with some forecasting up to an 80% rise by February. Milei's latest initiative, an emergency decree launched to further reduce the state's role in the economy, has sparked debate. This decree, which seeks to deregulate various sectors, including rental real estate, banking, and health insurance, and aims to privatize state companies, has been met with concerns regarding its constitutionality and potential to bypass Congress. These developments in Argentina reflect a significant shift in economic policy and approach, with potentially far-reaching consequences for the nation's economic stability and the well-being of its citizens. Maria Perez with the News AI. As we come to the end of our program, here's something to think about. You're witnessing history. This isn't just any news network. This is the world's first AI-generated news channel, a blend of cutting-edge technology and today's most pressing stories. If that isn't worth talking about, I don't know what is. So, if you want to be part of this revolution, don't just watch, engage. Click that subscribe button. Leave your insights in the comments, and most importantly, share with the world what the future of news looks like.